Welcome to your support group podcast, home of the number one podcast that supports you at what you like to do. As always, and if you knew, it's Kenny and Q. How y'all doing out there today?
They should be good. It's Sunday.
Sunday fun day, right? You should be good. You should be good because if you're watching this, I'm thinking that you're still living. So regardless of the fact, you should be great. Regardless of the situation that you possibly in, you should be great.
Right.
Yeah. So I got a little bit frustrated with people recently. This whole submarine thing. And I've said this before in the podcast episode about speaking ill of the dead. But it's just kind of weird because people was making and I know there were safety protocols missed, and the controller was a PlayStation controller that was bootleg from Amazon and all this. And I know there's a whole bunch of jokes that can be made. But should we really be making those jokes? Like that, you know what I'm saying? No. Should we really be making these jokes? Like I for one, haven't posted anything or said anything. But Kenneth Williams or anything or anybody connected to Kenneth Williams would be advised not to go see a sunken ship that is like way below in the ocean. There's enough videos and all kinds of stuff. They even made a movie about it. Sorry to say it bluntly like that, but no, like it's just, I don't know. It just kind of caught me off guard, like how fast the jokes came. You know, like I didn't even hear about it on the news or see it on Google or anything, and it was just jokes about it. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, was y'all just like waiting on something like this to happen? Ooh, they went to go see the Titanic. Joke time. The people are looking at you just like this. You know what I'm saying?
You know, the internet never sleeps, and the internet is ruthless. As I woke up that morning and somebody was already talking about, I said, so what is this? And then later throughout the day, I started seeing TikToks and Instagram reels, and I was like, man. And then my daughter, she was the one, because she always looking at stuff. She was like, oh, Mom, these people, they went down in the bottom of the ocean to look for blah, 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 blah. And so I started Googling it, and I was like, wow, they did what? And then I was praying. I was like, I hope they get found. And then later that night when I came home from working out, she was like, no, Mom, se acabó. Nada más.
No más.
And I was just like, I was like, dang. And then the way she told me how they passed away, it was just, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's like, it's too soon, man. Like I was mad when Hurricane Katrina hit and people were making jokes about that. Like I didn't find that funny at all. It's just like it's a time and a place for everything. And it's never really a place and a time to joke about people who have died. Just keep it to yourself. Laugh about it in your house if you want to, but you ain't gotta be on the internet making fun of people's stuff.
Or give it like a month or two or a week or two before you start going in. I mean, you know, give it some time. Like the memes were, I'm not gonna lie, the memes were hella funny, but you didn't give it enough time to be like, okay, yeah, that's funny. All right, yeah. You know. And yes, scientifically, I knew as soon as they said they was down there by the Titanic, they wasn't going to be able to bring them back up because of how pressure works. And so they wasn't going to be able to bring them back up. And then once I was reading more about them possibly losing oxygen, and I knew once they lost oxygen, they're going to lose pressure. And once they lose interior pressure, then everything just goes like within like a matter of seconds. So I knew right then and there that it wasn't no room for jokes. Like them people were like really like in some serious danger, you know. And it was just bad, you know, that they said that you know they were still beaten and trying to get found. Just crazy. But speaking of loss,
Segue.
segue, you know, segue. Um, I want to talk about taking a loss. It's a lot of people out here that don't understand the balance. And we actually run a finite balance in life of taking a loss, whether that's financial, could be your food. Your food could get taken over by pelicans, like it was for me when I was a kid, and pelicans swooped down and grabbed my and flew off. But it could be a loss of a family member. You know, time waits for nobody. We all are aging human beings, except for me and Q. We're vampires. Yeah. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about taking losses. And I want to start off with the financial aspect of it. There's a lot of people. I won't say black. I won't say white, but it's a lot of people of races, the multiculturals, um, that cannot take losses financially. They will literally commit sideways due to taking a financial loss. It takes them to the point of it's the end of the world. They'll never come back from it. Fortunately, I grew up kind of broke, but not broke. I have a weird dynamic. But even if I lost everything today, as long as I got my health, I can get it all back. That's my mentality. And it's never to give up in life. So no matter what the financial situation or whatever, hey, you know, something not going to get paid, but we still going to eat. You know,
Yeah.
that's the way I was
Yeah.
raised.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up poor too. I didn't even know we were poor like that, but now that I'm looking back, I was like, dang, we were poor. We used to sleep 3 or 4 to a bed in like a 1 bedroom house, but we always had something to eat. Like eggs and rice was a meal. Like, shoot, you got eggs, you got rice, you got a meal.
Oh, don't get me
That was
started.
delicious.
Look, you got them chicken franks. You know them chicken franks, them
Right.
franks, not the ballpark that plump when you cook them. I'm talking about the chicken franks. They get so big that they bulging out the side of the pot like.
Yeah, the ones that explode and be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
then you get you some ramen, some well, we call them where I come from, we call them oodles and noodles. You get you some
Oodles
oodles
and
and
noodles.
noodles.
Yep.
You get you some oodles and noodles, and you get you some of them hot dogs. You chop them hot dogs up, put them in the oodles and noodles. Man, listen,
Dude.
get you
Yep.
get you a pack of Kool-Aid. Even though I found out later on in life that I can't drink Kool-Aid because it give me heartburn now. Old people stuff, but yeah, man, I tell people all the time, you know, long as I got health and I got my family, I can fight through it. I could fight through it, you know,
Hmm.
because I mean, technically, I did take some financial losses, you know, these past couple years when the market decided to go, you know, so I took some L's, you know, got some money out just in
Hmm.
the nick of time, but I didn't panic and I didn't lose my mind, you know. I still got some of that money in there because it's like, ain't no need to take it out now because it's only 30 cents a share. But hey,
Hmm.
it is what it is. You know, it's not the end of the world, and that
Yeah.
goes for anybody, and that goes for this whole entire topic on this podcast. It's not the end of the world. You can come back from it.
Yeah. True
Um,
that.
the other one is the loss of a loved one, a family member. Um, Now that's a tough one, you know, because you can't never tell somebody how to feel. Um, Especially about a situation like that. And especially about situations like that when you have that person in your life, like a loss of a mother or a sister. My mother and my sister are still living, so it's kind of hard to tell somebody like, I understand how you feel. No, not necessarily. You really don't understand how you feel.
Mm-mm.
You understand the feeling of the loss of a loved one, but you don't understand the feeling of losing a brother, or losing a sister, or somebody that's really close to you.
Yeah.
I've watched people for like 20 something years fight to come back from certain things like that. Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like your mom. It could be your spouse or anyone like that. And it takes them a while. Sometimes it adds undue stress to their well-being, and causes them to follow them in death, especially when you look at like older couples. um
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones in particular that normally follow suit behind one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's supposed. I heard there was a study like if the spouse, if the woman passes away first, usually the man will follow. Maybe like a month, maybe even a couple of weeks later, because it's like that's all they know is each other.
Yeah.
They've loved each other. They've been through everything, the ups and downs, and it's like ain't nobody else for me right now. I'm about to go be with my person.
Right. And then the bad joke here is, especially if your wife die first, ain't nobody cooking
Mm-hmm.
for you. Ain't nobody gonna feed you like your wife. That you
Right.
might not be eating well. You grieving, so you're not hungry. So ain't nobody else gonna force you to eat. Your children and can't tell. As a parent, your children can't really tell you nothing. They're like, Dad, you need to eat. You're like, okay, baby, I'll eat something later. No, your wife be like, the
Mm-hmm.
food is on your lap. You need to like dig into
Yeah.
this plate. I don't care. I don't care. Eat some food. But
Mm-hmm.
once your spouse is, gone, it's definitely 10 times hard to come back from something, because like you said, you've had that person for years in your life, your confidant, your best friend, your sidekick, your everything, you know what I'm saying? And that person is gone. And now who do you confide in about this loss? Because that loss is dumb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely hate.
Also, I want to tell people that grief has no expiration period, because I'll see people say just like the
No.
weirdest things, like you still sad about that? That was that person's mom or dad or whoever. Like, who are you to tell somebody when they should stop being sad about something? Because you don't know the impact that person had on that person's life.
And see, that goes
You know
back
what I
to what I
mean?
said earlier about somebody that hasn't experienced that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. So you can't sympathize with a person that hasn't, you know what I'm saying? A person going through something that
Right.
you haven't experienced. You can't sympathize with them. You can't talk to them like that. And you can't reach them like that either. The only way
Mm-hmm.
you could reach them is really through love. But I hate, just like you said, I hate when I see people that do that. Like, get over what?
Mm-hmm. Terrible.
Yeah. Um and I hate to see, like, cuz I had someone, a really good coworker of mine. I was going to say really good friend, but he was on the road a lot, so we didn't like really mesh, but we was coworkers, and I would always have a working conversation, a working relationship with him. And he retired. His wife kept on asking him to come on out and retire and retire and retire. And he was like, I don't know. And when he finally came out, 3 months later, his wife died. And
Mm.
I watched this well dressed, very sharp man decline within weeks of that. Like he came back, his hair wasn't cut. And he was talking, and I could tell he was like just disheveled. So when I say, well, when we say that, when we talk about, somebody losing somebody close to them, I've seen it firsthand, a prime example of that and how fast it could decline. That's why I told my wife, I said, you know, if something happened, God forbid, something happened, I'm finding 18 strippers and I'm moving on the island. I need something to occupy my time. No. What I told her was, God forbid something happened like cancer or anything where it causes me to have operations or repeat surgeries or repeatedly going back and forth or anything like that. Like if I go to the doctor and that doctor tell me that there's only like a 70% chance of this helping you recover, anything like that. I've watched so many people go down from chemo, just chemo alone,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm like, nah, buddy, unless you give me 80%, I ain't doing it. I'm about to go enjoy
Mm-hmm.
my life. Give me my pills. Give me my
Mm-hmm.
pain pills or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm about to go enjoy my life. Who knows? I may poop out the tumor or whatever in a couple of weeks from now. Like, boop. Oh, look, there go the tumor.
I don't know. I think I was just gonna say I think if I passed away first, my husband would be lost. That's why I'm just like I can't die. He would be so just like he would be a hot mess.
Q coming back as a zombie.
Yeah, I would
It's
definitely have to come
okay.
back and just sit next to him and be like, okay, now this is what you need to do now. He said he always hates if I when I talk about if I go first, but I'm like, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
it just is.
it's not like you preparing for death or you rushing death or you trying to run to catch death. It's basically making sure things, because your household is just like mine. You know, we have kids, we have things that we own. We have to make sure everything is in order, just in case the worst thing that we can ever possibly dream of happens. But we got to make sure everything keeps on running, regardless if one or both of us is here. So, like I tell my wife all the time, I don't like to talk about it, but you know, what I tell her is, I would I would prefer, because I know me. I'm an emotional person. I would prefer if it was me first, because you know, even though I make the joke like I'm gonna get 18 strippers and move to an island, it wouldn't be. It would just be me. Me and the kids until I leave this earth,
Mhm.
because I just I don't think I would ever find that person that I feel comfortable with sharing all my secrets. Like it it was trial and error. I went through trial and error, and I had to keep on digging. And I was like, oh, look, oh, I found a diamond. Let me keep this diamond and hold on to this diamond. It took me a while to find that person. And I got that person now in my life that I feel comfortable with sharing everything with. My deepest, darkest, to my lightest, to my most silliest, to whatever. That person is in my life. And you know, I couldn't even imagine, even though she get on my last nerves, even though she OCD and make me clean up every hour on the hour, I still
I'm pretty sure you be working her nerves too.
I still couldn't live on this earth without my best friend. That's just me. So yeah, I understand that your husband would be a wreck and you would have to come back and haunt him in zombie form. Like, I can't keep on coming back. My ears is falling off now. What you gonna do? You gonna tape them on?
Right.
Yeah. But like I would tell anybody that, and this is just my advice, um, take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. Make sure you experience life. Um, get out in the world, move around, exercise, do things that help clear your head and don't keep you in that spot. Like I said earlier, I can't say in any way, shape, or form that I can relate to your situation, but I can tell you that I've suffered some losses of close relatives as well. And I would say the best thing that I've done for myself was to keep myself occupied and just take it one day
Mm.
at a time.
Yeah. That's all you can do, really.
Yeah.
Moment to moment, day by day.
Yeah.
Some days you're gonna be like really up, and then some days you'll have like just a memory come just in your mind, and then you might get sad for a moment, and then you get back up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a cycle.
Yeah. Just be careful and watch your triggers. Like you said, you'll have some good days, some bad days. Sometimes you have those triggers. You'll hear a song on the radio and all of a sudden you're just crying and you can't stop. Turn that song off. Watch your triggers. Watch your triggers. Watch the things that bring back the memories. And, as you take it one day at a time, and it get better. Maybe one day you'll listen to that song and be like, oh, man, she really used to love that song. I miss her. Instead of having a complete and utter breakdown.
Right.
And with that said, if nobody told you today that they love you, we do. As always, you can catch up with us, keep up with us, know all the things about the podcast at www.ysgpodcast.com. And if you ain't subscribed, come on, man. Stop it.
What you waiting on?
Stop it. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Just hit that button right now while we talking. Just hit it. It's going to be all right. Leave a comment if you have some suggestions or conversations or want to talk further about the situation. This topic, situation. I made it sound so important, situation. And peace out. Yes, support group.